Welcome back, students and others who happen to find this video. I'd like to look at this question. How can we retrieve key semantic tags in LanceBox Corpus Linguistics software toolkit? This is a follow-up video to a previous video about keyword analysis or keyness analysis. I'll leave a link to that video in the description of this video. As we've seen in the past, LanceBox is a powerful toolkit for analysis of billions of words. And in that previous video, I show how to do keyness analysis in COCA, right, the Corpus of Contemporary American English, and in ANCONC, as well as in LanceBox. Now I want to just do a quick follow-up video to show you how to get key semantic tags. That is like keywords that actually are semantic tags. So here's LanceBox, our old friend, right? And let me zoom in a tad bit for us. On the top left, right, I have example corpus loaded up right now. That comes with LanceBox. If you click on that and go to Add Corpora, and we have our data. If I click on, for example, My Data, load up some stuff, some files, give it a name, whatever name, whatever. And then I have some files I would load up either from a folder or actual like files themselves. What I want to get to is down here. If you click on grammatical and then semantic, it'll tag for part of speech. That's grammatical tagger. The grammatical tagger is part of speech tags. And the semantic tag there will use the PyMusas, I'm not sure how to pronounce it as a word, PyMusas semantic tagger. And when you do that, on the bottom right of my screen, let me remove myself real quick so you can see. In the bottom right, we have load corpus, and it would tag. It'll probably take a while. The semantic tagging takes some time. Anyway, you would do that twice with two different corpora, right? You do it with one corpus and then another corpus. So you have two corpora that have both part of speech tags, what they call grammatical tags, what Václav and his team call grammatical tags, and then semantic tags as well. Okay, I've done this already, so I'm not going to do so now. The purpose of this video is to just show how to get to the semantic tags once you have two corpora coded for semantic tags. So I do have that. I have two here. One is Saints. That is the 4-volume history of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, about a 200-year period of the church's history. And this one down here is U.S. presidential speeches. So let me focus or use that as my target corpus. Again, the idea of target corpus and reference corpus is super important in keyness analysis. And it will be important also for key semantic tag analysis here. So let's focus on that just to show this is working. Let's just type in Congress and see what we get. We should get a truckload of tags or hits for Congress in this presidential speech corpus. And sure enough, yeah, so this is good. Now I'm going to change tools. In the top left of my screen, right below where I typed in Congress, there is a little 3 horizontal bars, right? It's the switch tool button. I'm going to click on words, that bottom of those 4 that just popped up, words. And then bingo, and as expected, that is the most frequent word. But what I want to do now is over here about in the middle of my screen at the top, it says word lowercase. If I click on that drop down and change it to SEM for semantic tags, like that, I end up with semantic tags. Okay? These are actually semantic tags, and if you don't have the tag set in front of you, they're not going to mean anything. So let's go back over here and get the tag set. If I say tag set PyMusas, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but let's look at the second one. I think the second one is one I would like to look at. No. Let me actually just search for USAS. So I just searched for tag USAS, USAS. Yeah, this is the one I wanted. It's a PDF file. This is at Lancaster University. Yeah, this is where LanceBox is created, thanks to Václav and his team. Yeah, so these are the semantic tags. And if we just look at, let's go back over to LanceBox. So Z5 is the most frequent semantic tag. And we can see some of the, we can see concordance lines with words that have that semantic tag. But that of, in, by, so these are grammatical words. Okay, unsurprisingly, those are the most frequent words. Yeah, okay, so let's actually come up here. In the middle of the top of the screen, right, there's a little key icon. and it says keywords. We click that, and then we specify our reference corpus. In this case, we only have one. That is not the one we're using already, right? So we'll click on saints and then do whole corpus. And now we have the key semantic tags of the U.S. presidential speeches corpus. The first one there is I-1.1. Let's go take a look at what I-1.1 is. I-1.1, right here in the top of my screen. Let me zoom in quite a bit. See that? It is money affluence. Okay, interesting. Not altogether surprising given in a U.S. presidential speech, maybe, corpus. G1.1. What is G1.1? G1.1, if we go down and find that one, is government, etc. Yeah, that makes sense. You're going to hear about government, etc. in a bunch of presidential speeches from the U.S. How about I-2.1? Let's see what I-2.1 is. I-2.1 is business generally. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, how about N3.1? N3.1, measurement general. Interesting. Back here, the fourth one down says M7. What is M7? Places. Okay. Anyway, so you get the idea. These are the key semantic tags of the U.S. presidential speeches corpus with saints as the reference corpus. Now let's switch the two. So let's get out of here on the bottom right of my screen. Let me real quick show you that. Bottom right of my screen, it says close. So I click on close. And then up here in the top left, I switch from U.S. presidential speeches to saints. And again, it defaulted back to the actual words. So let me go up to the middle of the screen here and change from word lowercase to SEM for semantic tags. And you can see those are the key, like not key, but those are the most frequent semantic tags in descending order. Good. And then we click on that keyword button again, that key icon, keywords. And then we specify the U.S. presidential speeches as the reference corpus. And let's take a look. We got Z1M as the most frequent tag right there, left of my screen. Let's go jump over here and take a look at Z1. Let's see the bottom right of my screen. Let me go back and look at it. Z1M. Okay, Z1M is personal names. That makes sense to me. There's a lot of personal names in a history of 200 years of a specific church. Yeah, it kind of makes sense to me. You're going to have a lot of people named. How about S9? What is S9 there? S9. Let's find S9 in this list. Religion and the supernatural. Yep, that makes total sense. In a corpus of a church, the history of a church, about 200 years of one church. Yeah, religion, the supernatural, completely expected there. What's S2? S2, let's go back and look at S2. S2 is people, our people. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And male and female, MF, I think that's male and female. So anyway, there you go. These are key semantic tags for the saints corpus as the target, with the U.S. presidential speeches corpus as the reference corpus. So that's how you do it. It's super easy in LanceBox X. The real kicker is when you're here looking at the frequency list, it defaults to this, the word lowercase, which is what you usually want to see, the actual words, right? But you can specify other things, including the semantic tags. And then you can do keyness analysis on those semantic tags with that button right there with the key icon. Okay, there you have it. That brings us to a pretty quick conclusion on how to retrieve key semantic tags in LanceBox X. Wonderful. Thanks for joining. See you next time.